This is Dream Power Radio, the place where your dreams turn into reality. Here is your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Dream Power Show. I'm your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman, the Dream Coach. This is the show where we talk about dreams, both daytime and nighttime dreams, and how you can use them to create a life you love. And as a reminder, I am here to help you understand your dreams. So if you've got a dream that's got you stumped, email me at debbie@dreampowerradio.com. I can help you interpret your dream or even answer any general questions you may have about dreams. So again, my email is debbie@dreampowerradio.com. Here are two words you probably never use in the same sentence: money and love. But as my guest today, Barbara Wilder, will explain, perhaps we should start to think of money as love. Sounds strange, doesn't it? I mean, can we really start to see money, which for me often represents stress and worry, as something that can actually connect us to our soul? Well, Barbara says yes. Before I bring her on, let me tell you a little bit about her. Barbara Wilder is an internationally acclaimed author, speaker, teacher, healer, and she is the founder and director of the Transformational Light Center and the author of the book, Money is Love. Welcome to the Dream Power Show, Barbara.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here, Debbie.
Okay, you've got to explain why you say money is love. What does money is love mean?
It's not that money is yet love. It is, money is love is like a mantra or a prayer to help us transform the energy around money from fear and worry and anxiety to love and the ability to relax in our lives in this new vibration of money is love. And so by beginning to think about it like that, to begin to just say it as a mantra or a prayer, we have the power to begin to change our conception, our belief systems, and the old patterns around the idea that money is scarce and there's not enough and that we will never have enough. So it's an ongoing process that I invite everyone to join me in, because the more people that think, just even for a few moments a day, that money is love as opposed to money is scary, that the more it's a ripple effect, and the more it will move out into the greater consciousness of the world. So it's so being here on your show, on your dream show, it's my dream that so many more of us can learn this truth, because it is the truth. It's the underlying truth that has always been. We have just learned a whole lot of lies that keep us from believing that money is love and that money is abundant for all of us.
And there was a time, in civilization, probably a long time ago, where we didn't have this connection with money as being something that's scarce or something to be feared or something that we have fear about because it is so scarce. So what happened to us as people?
Well, thanks. Such a good question. And that's what I took a long time delving into when I first was introduced to this concept that money is love. And I went, where is that truth? Where does it exist? Because I know it's true. I can feel it's true in my heart. So where did it come from? And so I began researching money. I researched money for a whole year in every way possible, including in my dream state and in my meditative state. And also, I realized that I had to go back before written history into prehistory to really get an understanding of how we used to be connected. We were originally, when we well, just going back just a little past 5,000 years ago, and everything before that, we were connected to the divine Mother Earth. Earth was our God. It was the feminine understanding of God, that the earth herself was our God, and we were connected directly to her through everything. And so, and she supported us in everything. Truly, she gave us our water, our food, our warmth, our everything we needed to make clothes, to make pottery, to live and exist. And even up through the late Neolithic and up into early civilizations, we were completely taken care of by everything on the earth. And so when we would exchange things, when we would meet another tribe, and we would say, here, we've just killed a woolly mammoth, here's some woolly mammoth meat. And they said, oh, great, and we'll give you some of these berries we've been collecting along the route. And that was the original exchange. And that was how money began. And because everything was connected directly to the Mother Earth as holy or sacred, the exchange was sacred. And money, therefore, as it evolved and became coins and made out of silver and gold, it carried still that sacredness. And we knew that there was always abundance. We knew that there was enough for everybody, because when you're on this great big earth and you're living from the earth, you know that. You have to know that, or you can't survive. But when we made this change, and this was a change that happened in our consciousness, in our brains, it was a brain shift, a literal neurological brain shift. We moved into abstract thought. And we moved from just being part of the literal world into a world where we could see differentiation. And we began to individuate. And that was really exciting in the beginning. In the beginning, that was very exciting. And both the masculine and feminine men and women, there were masculine gods and feminine gods, and there was this beautiful coming together and an understanding, and there was so much abundance. There was so much new thought. And then it got skewed. There was a moment in time when this individuation got moved out of the sacred, and we began to stand up or not all of us, just some of us stood up in front of the tribe and said, or in front of the city state and said, we're better than the rest of you, and we're going to take your stuff. And we started to have war, and we started to try to make ourselves better by having more stuff. We changed this idea in our brains from understanding that there was enough for all of us to there's only enough for some of us, so that there could be power over others. And that's where we've been stuck for about 5,000 years.
But when you're talking about money and love, the thing that came to mind when I was thinking about it was the old Bible saying, "The love of money is the root of all evil." So how does your concept of money, love tie into that?
Well, first of all, the actual translation has been, things get skewed all along the route. The actual original translation was "the lust after money is the root of all evil," which is very different than the love of money. It's lust is not in balance. Love is a whole different vibration than lust, right? So what happened as I think about these kind of things all the time, but just the other day I was thinking about Jesus in the temple and how he went into the temple and he got really mad and he threw the money changers out of the temple and he tossed everything around and he was really mad. And then supposedly he said, "Render unto God what is God's and unto Caesar what is Caesar," which split money away from the divine. But up until that time, money was still, in many people, there was still the understanding for many people that the money, there was still some sacredness in the money. But by this time also, there was all these crooks. If they had moved into the temple, where money used to be brought in onto the altar, now it was outside of the temple, and they were doing money changing, which was ripping everybody off. And that's what Jesus got mad at. He didn't get mad at sacred money. He got mad at the people, at the criminals, at the all those who were taking advantage of people and taking their money. But it always gets skewed away because money was originally part of the sacred, and the sacred was feminine. To let it remain in that feminine place of nurture and care, it undermined the patriarchal structure. It had to be disconnected.
It had to be. Okay, well, talking about money itself and that, the symbols we use for money, whether it's paper money or checks or credit cards or, virtual money, whatever we have today. So here I have a dollar bill, American dollar bill in my hand. And, here on the front, we've got, good old George Washington. And on the back, we've got, symbol of the, American eagle. And then we have the symbol of an eye over a pyramid. Why do you think the people who came up with this money put this on our money?
Well, that's just a wonderful question. First of all, during this changeover from money being barter to money being coins, and to keep us connected back in this history again, one side of the coin would be impressed with a picture of like the chief or the king, and the other side would be impressed with a god or a goddess, and money was like the connection between the spiritual and the here now world. And so when the dollar bill changed to having these images on the back, happened during the Depression, the Great Depression in the United States. Franklin Delano Roosevelt knew about this old ancient way of money being connected to the sacred, and he came up with this idea. And he put, so that if you actually fold the bill in half, you will see that on one side you'll see the eagle, and on the other side you see the pyramid with the eye above it, which is the eye of Horus, which is the all-seeing eye of God. And it was so that it actually is still, as we just in our money. This doesn't exist in any of the other in the euro or in most of the other monies that I've looked at and held in my life. It carries that original connection from the sacred to the reality here.
I always like to talk about practicality, so let's get down to the practical here.
Okay.
So we have this idea, that money is love. To go back to our sacred roots of seeing that money is abundant and there for all of us. How do we shift ourselves away from what I think I would say most people have, the self-limiting beliefs about money, that it's scarce, that it's something to worry about, that we have to wonder, is this going to be the only place I can get money? If I buy something, is that going to diminish my money, and am I going to get something to replenish it? How do we get away from those mindsets?
That is the great challenge of our generation. So that money is love is part of the entire shifting of consciousness for humanity. And the basis for everything, for this shift for humanity, is finding the love and trust within ourselves. And everybody kind of thinks that's a brand new idea, I've noticed. But in truth, that's another one of those ancient things. As we first individuated and changed, got that abstract thinking, all the great philosophers believed that loving the self was the highest place that you could be, because that was connecting you directly to God, because the self is God. That goes back to Socrates, Aristotle, and before into the ancient Egyptians and Hermes Trismegistus and the Hermetic principles. It's that basic in our DNA. But a patriarchal structure, or a dominated structure that we live in and have for the past 5,000 years, doesn't want anybody to love themselves, because then there can't be control. When a person that truly loves themselves cannot be controlled by anyone. And we live in an era when we're all supposed to be controlled. And that's why we live in fear that there's not enough, because that's part of the control. So it has to start within us. We have to go, okay, I'm going to do the work it takes for me to learn that I am the God within and without, a part of all of that is abundant, because the universe is abundant. The universe is abundant. We have all the resources we need on this planet right now, and all we do is think about how we don't have enough. I mean, we have just with solar power, we could power everything on the planet, and it wouldn't cost a penny. But that means we have to break down the structure, and the structure has to start within ourselves. And so to learn to love ourselves, to learn to think of ourselves as abundant and part of an abundant universe, it's a process. And using kind of the mantra of money is love, and kind of saying that and spending your money as love and thinking about that, it might sound silly or going against all rational belief, but when you do it, you begin to help yourself open to your own abundance. On the cover of my book, this is the goddess Kuan Yin, and she's bringing the money out of the world and into her heart of compassion, because she's the goddess of compassion. And she's bringing that money out of the world that is just encrusted with fear and horrible scarcity into her heart of compassion to transform it. And then she's handing it back into the world on a vibration of love. That's what we want to do. We want to be that, because that loving goddess of compassion lives inside of us. I carry, like you do, and like all of us do, that loving, nurturing part of humanity within us. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. We all carry that within us. So to kind of snuggle down with that part, that we're part of this greater universe, and that we have the power, but it's the power of love and not the power of fear, that we can shift this. But it's an ongoing process.
It is. And I want to dive deeper into this with you, but we have to take a break here. We are talking with Barbara Wilder about the concept money is love on the Dream Power Show. We'll be right back. Want to know more about remembering your dreams and what they mean? Want practical tools to help you really live the life of your dreams? I'm Debbie Spector-Weissman, the Dream Coach. For powerful wisdom you can use, sign up for my newsletter today at dreampowerradio.com. It's free.
Welcome back to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Yes, and welcome back to the Dream Power Show. I'm your host, certified Dream Life Coach, Debbie Spector-Weissman. And we're talking with Barbara Wilder about the concept money is love. And Barbara, in your book, you actually talk about several methods that people can use to get themselves used to the idea that money is love, such as journaling. So could you talk a bit more about those techniques?
Well, journaling, I think almost every teacher will teach you about journaling nowadays in the spiritual community, because it is such a powerful tool. And the kind of journaling I'm talking about is the stream of consciousness journaling, where you just sit down and give yourself like 20 minutes in the morning to just start writing whatever comes out of your hand, as opposed to sitting down and thinking about stuff. It's sort of, but I suggest that people start with a sentence like, when I think about money, I feel, and then go from there. And just see, and just kind of write in this open forum with yourself, for a while, and see what comes up, because money is so connected to so many other things that you'll find, oh my God, all of a sudden you're talking about, a time when your mother said, got really mad at you, and because you didn't, you wasted money, or your parents fought, and your father was an alcoholic because he was always broke. All these kinds of things live in our consciousness, and they keep us separated from our abundance. And so journaling and bringing that into our awareness, and I suggest you do it every day, and do it first thing when you wake up, because just that place just between when we first wake up, we're so connected still to the dream world and to this world, that we have a much more open channel to do this kind of journaling, which is really about talking with your inner self and your higher self. That you don't kind of try that, you just let your Julia Cameron really first started talking about journaling like this back, 20 years ago. And she said, let the hand do the writing. The hand knows, it takes you places your brain can't take you. And actually, so don't type it, actually write with, so the journaling is very important. And I also teach a white light meditation, where you just then turn on a star above your head and pour white light through you, which when we start to journal, when we're journaling, what happens is we bring stuff up out of our subconscious into our conscious, or our unconscious into consciousness. And then, we carry all this consciousness deep in our body. It's not just in our brains. It's all of lots of our traumas and pains and belief systems are stuck in our cellular level. So if you pour light through, metaphysical light through your body, after you journal and bring up these fears about money, and you start washing it out your feet and your hands, so that you actually make some progress. So that the places you open up and clear get filled with light. Also, just simple things like writing "money is love" on your credit card slips, or even when you're using PayPal, typing in "money is love." Just take that moment, that 4 seconds or 1 second, however long it takes to write "money is love" or type it in, or think the thought as you're spending money. Money is love. You're opening a space where fear usually lives, and you're filling that space with money is love. So it's like brainwashing, but it's the good brainwashing, washing with love.
Exactly.
There's also
I love that idea, washing with love. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful concept, just to think about that, and just the image it portrays. It just warms my heart to think of it. You also talk about In your book, you also talk about a technique that you use called shrinking. Could you go into that? What is shrinking?
I learned this from a wonderful teacher in South Africa named Leslie Thurston. Shrinking is actually saying a mantra on mala beads. Mala beads are like a Buddhist or Hindu prayer beads, like a rosary, and they have 108 beads. And it's a thing where you count the bead. Each bead you say a prayer on, and you just do that all the way around the beads. That's just holding and touching the bead. And shrinking is the mantra is very short. It's only one word. The word is shring, just shring, and it's a Hindu word that calls in Lakshmi, and Lakshmi is the goddess of abundance in the Hindu religion, and Shri, which it comes from, was the original Hindu goddess of all. She was the mother god that was the goddess of all that there was. So that again takes us way back into that time when we're connected to the sacred mother and earth. And so what you do is you just saying that word 108 times, and and you sort of sing it a little. So I just go shring, shring, shring on each bead. And what that does is, it's because sound is an incredible way of shifting consciousness. The sound, the vibration goes into your body and opens you up to really invite abundance into your life. And when you're really stuck, when you're having a really hard time and you don't know where the money's going to come from, and if you just string 4 or 5 times a day, 6 times a day, when I first learned it, when I first learned that, we had just gone bankrupt and we were just in a bad state. We'd left Los Angeles and we moved to Boulder, and I was following my guides and everything, and it didn't seem like it was working out. Of course it was, because of the bigger picture, but I was, and we got this, I heard this tape and I started to shrink, and I would shrink like 3 and 4 times, 5 times, 6 times a day. And within like 3 weeks, all of a sudden I got a teaching job, and my husband got a job, and everything came to be. So I went, this is great. So I've been using that ever since. So that's what stringing is.
Oh, wonderful. Barbara, I can't believe it. There's so much more I want to ask you about this and to go into some more detail, but we are just about almost out of time. So the one thing I do want to ask you as the last question is, how can people find out more about this and about you and about what you have to offer?
Oh, well, thank you. Yes, well, I have my website, which is www.barbarawilder.com. Very simple, barbarawilder.com. And you can reach me at barbara@barbarawilder.com, and just email me. I'm not giving any classes right now. I'm preparing to get ready, but probably not for a few months, because I'm completely restructuring all my work. But I'm working with private clients one-on-one, especially helping people lift up to this next level of their own enlightenment and their own abundance and their own prosperous way. So to support, because each one of us, and I just want to say this one thing that's so important, each one of us, as we do this work of healing ourselves, connecting ourselves to love and our own love, we are helping shift the planet, and we each have some wonderful purpose. Each one of us is here and my joy is helping people find how to step more strongly and powerfully into their purpose and live in their prosperity and live in because the prosperity is here to support our purpose.
What a wonderful way to end this show. Thank you so much, Barbara, for being with us. We've been speaking with Barbara Wilder about why money is love on the Dream Power Show. I hope you've enjoyed today's program. Until next time, this is Debbie Spector-Weissman saying, sweet dreams, everybody.
You've been listening to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman. For more information on Debbie or to sign up for her newsletter, go to dreampowerradio.com. This has been Dream Power Radio on the amazing Women and Men of Power Network, the world's leading positive programming network, powered by Raven International.